Despite having light in the name, the GameLink Lite remote control actually has plenty of tricks up its sleeve. As to what they are, well, let's just have a quick walkthrough of the features of the remote control, and then afterwards we'll do a practical demonstration of the controller in use. So, obviously we have 4 buttons across the front, and that's for a standard sporting controller. Easy to launch plays on the fly. We have a solo mode as well, which illuminates blue when enabled. Once the button is now pushed, we'll hear a 3-second countdown before the clay fires. And then of course, the reason why you're watching this video in the first place, we have the Flush Controller feature. Now, what's important to remember with our Flush Controller is it's completely random. You will never receive the same sequence of plays twice. Every time you start a new flush, it'll generate a new sequence for the game in hand. In addition to this, when setting the time, you can set that a clay fires every 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 7 seconds, or random. So if you really want to be kept on your toes, select random, and you'll never know when it's going to launch that clay between a period of 3 and 12 seconds. One of the particular features what I love about this is it doesn't really matter how many traps you own. It's usually what you find with flush controllers, as you probably already know, is that you buy a flush controller for 3 traps, or you buy a flush controller for 4. With this one, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you just own 1 trap. It's a brilliant training aid with just 1 trap, because it'll keep automatically launching clays towards you. If you own 2 traps, well great, you have a bit of variation, you never know which trap it's going to fire towards you. It could even fire both at the same time, depending on how you set the remote control. That brings us on to the second feature. See, the first question it's going to ask you is how many clays do you want to fire? On this particular remote control we have the option of 25, 50, 75 or 100. The second question it'll ask you is how many clays could it fire at the same time? Remember, this is a random remote control, so if you're shooting by yourself you might select 2, and then you don't know, it might launch 1 at you, it might launch 2 at you. If you happen to have a semi-automatic or even a pump action, if you're out for a bit of fun and you think you're a bit of a hot shot, set 3. Again, you may find 1 clay in the sky or you may find all 3. Shooting with a friend, set it to 4. Now you have the possibility of 4 clays appearing in the sky. So there's a lot of variation which you can do with this remote control, and especially once, like we said earlier, when we come to the time setting, you can set that to launch clays every 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 7 seconds, or random. And when selected on random, it will launch clays anywhere between 3 and 12 seconds apart. Really keeps you on your toes, I can assure you of that. So what we'll do is we'll re-angle the camera now, and we'll set up a little practical demonstration of the Flush Controller running its cycle. Before we get to that though, the first thing we have to do is actually pair the remote control to the receivers. Now, every receiver we sell, doesn't matter on a model, comes with a magnetic programming tool. Really simple procedure to do, but the button presses can vary depending on the model, so always refer to the manual as to what buttons you're pushing. But on this particular model, we hold down the solo key and the button you wish to program. So let's do channel 1 first. So I'm going to hold down channel 1, quickly followed by the solo, and hold them down simultaneously until the remote control beeps. And now this is waiting to be programmed, so we take our standard TrapLink Pro receiver and we wave the magnetic tool across the top. The remote control beeps, confirms it's now programmed. It's still in solo mode. Now we'll do the same for number 2. Number 3. And lastly, number 4. Simple as that. So, to start a flush, we hold down the flash start button. We get a little beep and we have a slow flashing blue light. Now if you look at the label at the bottom here, it says slow flash, and slow flash means number of clays. So how many clays do we want to fire? 25, 50, 75 or 100? In this instance we're going to press 25. Medium flash, it's flashing a little bit faster now. And this is the max flush. So how many clays do you want to fire at the same time? Possibly. Again, it's random. On this instance we're going to select 1 just to demonstrate the randomness. And now we have a fast flash, which is asking how often it should launch the clays. So in this case we're going to select 3 seconds. Once finished, the remote control will beep to signify that's the end of the round. So moving along, let's up the ante a little bit. This time we're going to set 2 clays at a time, as if you were shooting by yourself with a side by side or an over and under. So we start a flush, 25 clays again. We will have 2 at the same time possibly, and 3 seconds apart. And lastly, let's up the ante, let's go for 4 clays at the same time, 25 clays, 3 seconds apart. And lastly, just to demonstrate the randomness of the timer, we will set 4 clays at a time on 25 with a random time.